Welcome back to Coins Hunter USA, the place where every coin has a hidden story and every pocket change could hold a treasure. If you love rare coins, valuable finds, and the thrill of discovery, you're in the right spot. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of the Jefferson Nickel, a coin that may look ordinary at first, but could actually be worth far more than you imagine. Stay tuned, because what I'm about to share might just change the way you look at your nickels forever. Top 1. Today's spotlight is on the 1989 Jefferson Nickel, a coin that might look like just another 5-cent piece but could secretly be worth a fortune. At first glance, the Jefferson Nickel from 1989 seems unremarkable. Billions were minted that year in both Philadelphia and Denver, making it one of the most common nickels in circulation. Most people handle this coin daily without giving it a second thought, and usually, they are right, most 1989 nickels are only worth face value. But here's the part that makes collectors like us so excited. Hidden among those billions are rare and extraordinary varieties that can transform this everyday coin into a once-in-a-lifetime find. The Jefferson Nickel itself carries a lot of history. Designed by Felix Schlag and first introduced in 1938, it features Thomas Jefferson's portrait on the obverse and his famous Monticello home on the reverse. But what makes the 1989 edition stand out isn't its design, it's the unique minting errors, condition, and rarity in high grades that create massive value in today's coin market. Let's talk about what collectors really want. One of the biggest factors in determining the value of any Jefferson nickel is the condition. The majority of these coins went straight into circulation, meaning they've been handled, scratched, and worn down over the decades. But an uncirculated 1989 Jefferson Nickel, one that still shines with original mint luster and shows no signs of wear, is incredibly hard to come by. And when such a coin also displays sharp details, especially the full steps on Monticello, its desirability skyrockets. Full steps are extremely rare for this year, and finding one instantly places your coin into a much higher price category. Then come the minting errors. Imagine holding a coin that shows a double die strike, where the lettering or design appears doubled. Or a coin struck off-center, with Jefferson's portrait shifted oddly to the side. These are not flaws to collectors, they are treasures. Mint errors like these are not just rare, they are one of a kind, making each error coin unique and extremely attractive to serious collectors. Another fascinating part of the 1989 nickel story is how modern collectors sometimes underestimate coins from the 1980s. Because they don't feel old compared to early 20th century coins, people often overlook them. But the truth is, time has already started working its magic. Many of the 1989 nickels have been lost, damaged, or worn down to the point of being uncollectible. That makes the remaining high-quality examples even more scarce. For a collector who is building a full Jefferson Nickel set, these top-condition coins with unique traits are absolute must-haves. Imagine this, you're going through a jar of loose change in your kitchen drawer, maybe coins that have been sitting there for years. You pick out a nickel from 1989, not thinking much about it. But when you take a closer look, you notice something unusual. The steps on Monticello look clearer than normal. Maybe the strike looks sharper. Or maybe the coin has an off-center design. That tiny detail could mean the difference between a coin worth 5 cents and a coin worth tens of thousands of dollars. This is why coin collecting is so thrilling. It turns ordinary moments into extraordinary discoveries. And now, let's talk about the big question on everyone's mind. How much could the rarest versions of the 1989 Jefferson Nickel actually be worth? Well, records show that collectors have paid staggering amounts for the finest and rarest examples. A perfectly preserved, uncirculated 1989 Jefferson Nickel with the right combination of condition and rarity has sold for as much as $94,000. Yes, $94,000 for a coin that most people wouldn't hesitate to spend on a pack of gum. Think about that for a moment. Something so small, something so ordinary, something you might even toss in a tip jar without thinking, could actually be the kind of treasure that changes someone's life. That's the beauty of coin collecting. It's about history, it's about rarity, and it's about the thrill of the hunt. So, before you spend that nickel or add it to your coin jar, pause for a moment. Give it a closer look. Pay attention to the details. That 1989 Jefferson Nickel in your pocket might just be one of the rare treasures the coin world is buzzing about. Top 2. We're talking about a very special coin, the 1990 Jefferson Nickel. Now, on the surface, it looks like a simple, everyday coin that millions of Americans carried in their pockets for bus rides, snacks, or coffee in the early 1990s. But here's the fascinating truth, some of these nickels are far more than 5 cents. They're rare, they're collectible, and in the right condition, they can be worth a staggering amount of money. To understand why, let's go back in time for just a moment. The Jefferson Nickel was first introduced in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel, and it has been an American classic ever since. The obverse, or the front side of the coin, features the third President of the United States, Thomas Jefferson, designed by Felix Schlag. His portrait was carefully crafted to capture his strength and vision as one of the nation's founding fathers. On the reverse, we see his home, Monticello, a symbol of his legacy and contribution to American history. By 1990, this design had already become iconic, and the mint continued producing billions of them. But here's the twist: in the world of coin collecting, it's not the common coins that make history. It's the rare ones, the unusual ones, the ones that slipped through the cracks of the minting process. That's exactly what makes certain 1990 Jefferson Nickels so valuable today. Let's start with condition. Most coins go straight into circulation, passing through hands, wallets, and cash registers until they're scratched, worn, and dull. Those coins are only worth their face value. But a few lucky ones were preserved in pristine, uncirculated condition. Collectors call these mint state coins, and when graded at the highest levels, like MS66 or MS67, they're instantly valuable. Even more special are the examples with full steps on Monticello. The steps are tiny, detailed lines at the bottom of the building on the reverse, and because of weak strikes or wear, they rarely appear fully sharp. A nickel with clearly defined, uninterrupted steps is a collector's dream, but condition is only part of the story. The real excitement often comes from errors. During the minting process, mistakes can happen, and those mistakes create treasures. A double die error, for instance, shows Jefferson's features or the lettering struck twice, slightly off, creating a dramatic effect. Off-center strikes are another kind of error, where part of the design lands outside the coin's normal boundary, leaving a blank crescent shape. You might also find die cracks, cuds, repunched mint marks, or even coins struck on the wrong planchet. Each of these errors turns a regular nickel into a rare, collectible piece unlike any other. Now, think about this: billions of 1,990 nickels were made, but only a tiny fraction have survived in top condition, and even fewer with these rare errors. That's what makes them so valuable. Scarcity drives demand, and demand drives price. Collectors compete fiercely for the best of the best, and when two or more determined bidders face off in an auction, the final price can be jaw-dropping. Imagine sitting at an auction, watching a small 5-cent coin climb in value, $10,000, $20,000, $50,000, and then finally, the hammer falls at an unbelievable price. That's the magic of rare coins. And for the 1990 Jefferson Nickel, the most desirable examples, with perfect condition and rare characteristics, have sold for as much as $92,000. Yes, you heard that right, $92,000 for a single nickel from 1990. Now, let's pause for a moment and let that sink in. This isn't an ancient coin from thousands of years ago. It's not a piece of gold or silver. It's a nickel, a common coin that most people never gave a second thought. And yet, hidden among the billions, there are a few that can change someone's life. That's what makes coin collecting so exciting, the possibility that treasure is out there, waiting to be discovered, even in the most ordinary places. Maybe you have a jar of old coins in your house. Maybe you like to pick up coin rolls from the bank to search through. Or maybe you just find yourself with change from the store. The next time you see a 1990 Jefferson Nickel, don't overlook it. Check it carefully. Look for the details. Because you never know, you might be holding a rare piece of American history that's worth a fortune. Collectors love the Jefferson Nickel series because it combines history, artistry, and accessibility. Even beginners can start by collecting common dates, while experts chase after the rarest and most valuable examples. And the thrill of the hunt, the chance of discovering one of those hidden gems, is what keeps the hobby alive and growing. So, what lesson does the 1990 Jefferson Nickel teach us? Simple. Never underestimate the small things. Even the most ordinary-looking coin could carry an extraordinary story and an extraordinary value. And before we wrap up, here's the big reminder: the rarest 1990 Jefferson Nickel ever discovered sold for a record-breaking $92,000. That's the kind of money that turns a pocket change find into a life-changing treasure. Top 3. Today's spotlight is on a fascinating piece of U.S. coinage history, the 1991 Jefferson Nickel. Now, you might be thinking, it's just a nickel, worth 5 cents. But the truth is far more exciting. What if I told you that a simple nickel from 1991, the same one you may have used to buy candy or dropped into a vending machine years ago, could actually be worth thousands of dollars today? That's not just a collector's dream, it's a reality. Let's dive deep into the history, errors, and the market value of this extraordinary coin. The Jefferson Nickel first appeared in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel, with a design by Felix Schlag. The obverse features a bold and timeless portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, while the reverse showcases Monticello, Jefferson's stately Virginia home. By 1991, this design had already been in circulation for more than 5 decades, making it one of the most recognizable coins in American history. But even with such a familiar design, every year of minting comes with its own secrets, and 1991 was no exception. Let's start with the striking details. Millions of nickels were minted in Philadelphia and Denver in 1991, and although most of them circulated heavily, a small percentage were struck with such precision that they became collector favorites. These coins are often graded by professionals, and the higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. In particular, collectors look for examples with full steps on Monticello, sharply struck, fully defined steps that are rare because of weak strikes at the U.S. Mint during that era. Finding a coin with full steps from 1991 is a true treasure and can dramatically raise its value, but here's where things get even more interesting: mint errors. Errors are like happy accidents that transform ordinary coins into highly sought-after rarities. On the 1991 Jefferson Nickel, you can find double die varieties, where parts of the coin's design look doubled because of a misalignment during the minting process. Imagine seeing Jefferson's eye or the inscriptions with a shadow effect. That's a double die, and collectors go crazy for them. Other errors include off-center strikes, where the design doesn't land squarely on the coin and leaves a blank crescent-shaped area. Then there are repunched mint marks, where the D for Denver or P for Philadelphia looks like it's been stamped more than once. Some coins were even struck on the wrong planchet, meaning a nickel design was accidentally pressed onto a blank intended for another denomination, like a penny or a dime. These unique mistakes make every error coin one of a kind, and collectors will pay top dollar to own such rarities. Now, why does this coin matter to collectors so much? Because it combines history, rarity, and mystery all in one. The Jefferson Nickel has been a part of American pockets for decades, but very few people realize the hidden value they may carry. A coin like this not only tells the story of Jefferson and Monticello but also the story of America's minting process, its challenges, changes, and occasional flaws that turn into treasures. Auction houses across the United States have witnessed incredible bidding wars over rare Jefferson nickels. Collectors are passionate, and when a coin as rare as a 1991 nickel in pristine condition comes to light, the competition can be fierce. The prices can skyrocket in just minutes as bidders fight to own a piece of American history. So, the next time you're searching through your coin jar, your pocket change, or even a roll of nickels from the bank, don't dismiss the 1991 Jefferson Nickel as just another ordinary coin. Take a closer look at the steps on Monticello, check for doubling in the inscriptions, and examine the coin for signs of unique errors. That small effort could be the key to uncovering a hidden treasure. And now, here's the most exciting part. The most valuable 1991 Jefferson Nickel ever sold at auction fetched a jaw-dropping price of $91,000. Yes, you heard me correctly, $91,000 for a 5-cent coin that many people overlooked. Top 4. We are going to uncover the fascinating history and value behind a coin that most people would never expect to be worth more than a few cents, the 1993 Jefferson Nickel. At first glance, the 1993 nickel looks just like any other 5-cent piece. You see Thomas Jefferson's familiar portrait on the front and Monticello on the back, the design that has been a part of American coinage since 1938. But here's where things get exciting: not every 1993 nickel is ordinary. Some examples hide incredible details, minting errors, and qualities so rare that collectors are willing to pay thousands to own them. The Jefferson Nickel was created by Felix Schlag and has been beloved for decades, but by 1993, millions were struck at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. The vast majority entered circulation and became worn from years of use, but a small percentage came out of the mint with extraordinary features. And that's where serious collectors turn their attention. One of the first things experts look for is sharpness of strike. A fully struck coin with strong details, especially the steps of Monticello on the reverse, is highly prized. Coins with what collectors call full steps are especially rare from the early 1990s, because the mint often struggled to produce perfect strikes. So if you find a 1993 nickel with fully visible, sharp steps on Monticello, you are already looking at a coin far more valuable than its face value. Now let's talk about mint errors, the little accidents that transform an ordinary coin into something truly extraordinary. On 1993 nickels, collectors search for double die varieties, where parts of the inscriptions or Jefferson's features appear doubled. These small imperfections happen when the die shifts during the striking process, and they instantly boost a coin's desirability. Other exciting errors include off-center strikes, where part of the design lands outside the edge of the coin, leaving a blank crescent. There are also repunched mint marks, where the P or D mint mark appears stamped more than once, sometimes at a slightly different angle. And in very rare cases, a coin may have been struck on the wrong planchet, for example, a nickel design pressed onto a copper cent blank. When this happens, the coin becomes a unique one-of-a-kind rarity, commanding massive attention at auction. Collectors are not just chasing errors, though. They are also after condition. A 1993 Jefferson Nickel in pristine mint state, with blazing luster and no scratches or marks, can already be worth a good sum. But combine that condition with an error or with full steps on Monticello, and suddenly you have a coin that collectors will battle for in bidding wars. What makes this journey even more thrilling is that many of these coins are still out there. They're hiding in old rolls of nickels, in dusty jars tucked away in attics, and even in change you might receive from the store. The idea that a coin most people ignore could actually carry hidden value makes collecting so exciting. Every Jefferson nickel tells a story, not just about Thomas Jefferson or Monticello, but about America's minting process, its history, and the little mistakes that make some coins priceless. Now here's the part you've been waiting for, the value. While ordinary 1993 nickels are still just worth 5 cents, rare error coins and pristine mint state examples can sell for life-changing amounts. In fact, the most valuable 1993 Jefferson nickel ever recorded at auction sold for an unbelievable $90,000. So the next time you're checking your pocket change, don't underestimate the power of the humble nickel. Look closely at the details, inspect the steps on Monticello, and keep an eye out for errors. Who knows? You just might be holding a fortune in your hands. If you enjoyed learning about this incredible coin, make sure to like this video, subscribe to Coins Hunter USA, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a chance to discover the hidden treasures waiting in American coinage.